Yep. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the February 4th, 2025 Hempstead Town Board meeting. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
We have Supervisor Clavin.
Here.
Councilman Dunn.
Here.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby. Here. Councilwoman Miller. Councilman Muscarella is here. Miller is on her way. Councilwoman Ryder.
Here.
And Councilman Schneider.
Here. Okay. Councilman Muscarella, you're timely as always. Can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please stand. Hand over your heart. Repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Madam Clerk, please call the first public hearing.
Yes, Supervisor, on the, our first public hearing is a proposed local law regarding parking or standing prohibitions in Roosevelt.
Okay, a member of the board wish to be heard? And have any slips on item number one? Anybody wish to be heard that did not sign in on item number one? If not, might I please have a motion?
I move that we pass the resolution for number one.
A second?
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Oh, okay.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Yeah, we have a proposed local law regarding arterial stops in Inwood.
Okay, a member of the board wish to be heard? Any slips? Anybody wish to be heard did not sign on this item? If not, might I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding school speed limits in Oceanside.
Okay, any member of the board wish to be heard? I do not have any slips in this item. Anybody wish to be heard in this item? Did not sign in? If not, might I please have a motion?
I move that the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second. Thank you, John.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed handicap parking on public streets in Floral Park, or near Floral Park, it should say.
Any member of the board wish to be heard? I do not have any slips in this item. Anybody wish to be heard did not sign in? If not, might I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Yes, we have the application of Bola EM Realty LLC to modify and amend certain covenants and restrictions and to modify the site plan in Levittown.
Counsel, if you identify yourself for the record, thank you.
Good morning. For the applicant, Matthew Ingber from the law firm of Brown, Altman, and DeLeo, 538 Broad Hollow Road, Suite 301, Melville, New York, 11747. I'm here today for Bola's application to raise the existing gasoline station and convenience store at 3285 Hempstead Turnpike in Levittown and develop the property with a new gasoline station and Bola Market along with associated site and landscaping improvements. Just we note that the new Bola Market will also include a Tim Hortons coffee shop. So specifically, the applicant is seeking site plan approval for the new development, variance relief from provisions of the GSS district, as well as to repeal a town board covenant from April 10th of 1984, which covenant requires that the property be developed in accordance with a previously approved site plan from 1984. As a matter of housekeeping, the affidavits of mailing and posting were submitted with the town clerk's office in advance of today's hearing on January 30th of this year. With me today is the project engineer, Nick Buscemi, PE from High Point Engineering, who is available to address any questions that the board or public may have. For the record, the following documents have been submitted in support of the application: a petition in support of the applicant's request for site plan approval and to amend restrictive covenants, a narrative in support of the requested variance relief, an aerial plan prepared by High Point Engineering, a color site plan rendering prepared by High Point Engineering, which is currently being displayed on the monitor, as well as color elevation renderings also prepared by High Point Engineering, last revised January 3rd of 2025. By way of background, the property is located at 3285 Hempstead Turnpike in Levittown and is situated on the northwest corner of Hempstead Turnpike and Jerusalem Avenue. The surrounding area along Hempstead Turnpike is developed primarily with other commercial and retail use properties. So abutting the property to its north are multiple retail furniture tenants. Residential development is further north. Abutting the property to its west is a Taco Joe's restaurant, a bagel store, and retail stores. Further west along Hempstead Turnpike is a Lenox Hill radiology office. To the east of the property, on the opposite side of Jerusalem Avenue, is a Bank of America branch, followed by the Levittown Muse Shopping Center, which includes a Walmart, restaurants, and other retail uses. And south of the property, on the opposite side of Hempstead Turnpike, is a gasoline station with convenience store, and the Levittown Plaza Shopping Center, which includes tenants such as a City MD, Starbucks, Dortoni's Bakery, as well as the former King Cullen Supermarket. So based on a review of town records, the subject property has maintained a gasoline fueling use, which dates back to circa 1927, and has been in the GSS overlay district since April 10th of 1984. The property has had a convenience store since at least 1983. The property is currently improved with a gasoline station, which includes 8 fueling positions and a 1-story convenience store. And the existing fueling canopy is situated in a north-south orientation and is located approximately 9.9 feet from Hempstead Turnpike. In regard to site landscaping, the property currently has little to no green space. So the instant application will not change the property's longstanding gasoline station use, nor will it change the commercial character along Hempstead Turnpike. Specifically, the applicant will raise the existing improvements and develop the site with a new gasoline station, which will have 8 fueling positions under a new canopy, and a 2,633 square foot Bola Market that will include a Tim Hortons coffee shop. Just we note that the 8 fueling positions that are proposed is the same as what's currently existing at the property. The new Bola Market convenience store will be ADA compliant and will be designed as a masonry building sided with brick paneling and a wall finishing system consistent with the architectural style seen at other Bola Markets. As previously noted, the Bola Market will also have a Tim Hortons coffee shop. As it relates to the gasoline station use, the applicant will be removing the existing 4 fuel dispensers and replacing them with 4 new dispensers, which will have a total of 8 fueling positions, all of which will be under a new canopy. The new canopy and fuel dispensers will have an east-west orientation, which will improve overall site circulation and site access. The new fueling canopy will be set back approximately 21.1 feet from Hempstead Turnpike as compared to the existing 9.9 feet. In addition, the fuel pump islands will be located 31.9 feet from Jerusalem Avenue and 33.6 feet from Hempstead Turnpike, both of which exceeds the town code's 25-foot fuel island setback. Polo will also be modifying the curb cuts to improve overall site safety. So on Hempstead Turnpike, there is currently a driveway that's close to the intersection with Jerusalem Avenue, and there's also a second driveway further west along Hempstead Turnpike. As proposed, the driveway on Hempstead Turnpike that's near the intersection will be closed. The other driveway further west will remain, and will not allow for left turns out of the site. On Jerusalem Avenue, the current driveway towards the rear of the property will remain, but will be reduced in size. The applicant will also be adding a no left turn sign on Jerusalem Avenue, so that northbound drivers will be notified that they cannot make a left into the site. As previously noted, the property has little to no landscaping. This will be improved as the property will be landscaped in an attractive manner, consistent with other BOLA sites in the town and across Long Island. The existing street trees along Hempstead Turnpike will remain, and BOLA will be adding a grassed area along Hempstead Turnpike as well as along Jerusalem Avenue to the greatest extent feasible. In addition, perennials and further landscaping will be provided towards the southeasterly corner of the site, which will surround the new ground sign that will be installed at site. So with that, I have our project engineer, Nick Buscemi, who's available to address any questions that the board or public may have. Thank you.
Did you want to? Did anybody else you'd like to do a presentation, or is that?
Unless there's specific questions for the project engineer, we have no other,
Okay.
testimony.
I know the councilman might have a couple of questions.
Sure.
To start with.
Okay, as you know, this is catty corner to the Island Trees Veterans Memorial Middle School. I don't see a flagpole, and we have our Memorial Day parade step off there. Excuse me?
Jerusalem.
Yeah. Oh, the one on Jerusalem. Okay, I'm thinking of the one up the street that you doing a great job on. This one is, it used to be the Gulf gas station, which is terrific. Our Memorial Day parade goes up and down there. That's on the corner of Jerusalem Avenue, Gardner's Avenue, as you had mentioned, and Hempstead Turnpike, which the very first thing I did when I became a county legislature is to make that Vietnam Veterans Memorial Highway also. So I don't see, it might be on here and I'm just not seeing it. I need new glasses. A flagpole for the American flag on
We
it.
can add a flagpole onto there is not one currently here, but we will definitely find a spot for a flagpole at this site. Not a problem.
That's the one very, very important thing in my community, especially that community. VFW's there, Legion,
I agree.
You gave us a list of things that there were problems with that you were addressing. You just mentioned a bunch of them that have been addressed. Has everything been addressed that you had given us a list on?
Yeah, no, I mean, so in the notice of violation you're speaking about, correct? Or
Yes, correct.
yeah, so the parking, everything will go as part of the new development. We can try to get it into compliance as best as we can now while we are waiting for permits to get pulled. But as part of the new application, everything will be brand new striping, new trash enclosure, all of those things will be handled.
Okay. Well, that being the case, because of your history with me in my district, whether it be Merrick, whether it be Belmore, whether it be Smetter, whether it be Levittown, or even Bethpage, and Salisbury, you've been absolutely on target and truthful with everything you've done with us. So with that,
We got a couple of residents want to go.
I'll just wait until we hear from the residents and we'll go from there.
Great,
Thank you. And then the sprinklers are going to be,
Yeah, so we'll get an irrigation contractor and they install the landscape, the irrigation systems per their own design. So it will be installed.
okay, it's on record, so it better happen.
It will.
Do we have people here?
Yep, we got some residents here that want to come in, so if you kind of hang out there, and if I call your name or mispronounce it, don't mean it intentionally. Alex Sadafar? Just give your name and address to the record, thank you.
Hi, my name is Alex Sayadfar. I am the founder and the owner of Glass Carpet Floor and Homes. I purchased this property from Benzino in 1993. With that, I became a shared owner of the covenant of this easement. I shared this covenant with Levitt Style Calderon Enterprise, which include the 7 businesses in the shopping center. As a shareholder, as a shared owner of the covenant, nobody informed us any idea of wanting to change, restrict, or make a limitation to this easement. Should I have been notified as the owner of this property, it's very surprising that we were given such a little notice of the possibility of such drastic changes that would severely impact the livelihood of our business. It will be a disaster if our trucks have difficulties to deliver the goods. Of course, I am semi-retired. I retired a couple of weeks ago, and I'm passing the business down to my son, Kevin, who is the vice president of the class and also the sole owner of the class remodeling. He's been working with me for almost 8 years, and of course, with the second generation, he planned to expand the business, and he's doing a great job. But as a father at this point, who is retired and worked 7 days a week for so many years to establish a legitimate and a good business, I'm worried about his what's going to happen that could devastate the business. So at this point, I just hope you and the member give serious consideration to our situation. It is if it's not done right, it's going to hurt our business. It's going to devaluate our existence, our business, and we hope with some minor changes, it will be a positive result for all the parties in the area. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kevin? Did you want to speak? Yes. If you just come up to the back, then give your name and address. Thank you very much.
My name is Kevin Sayatvar. I'm the owner of Class Remodeling, the sister company to Class Carpet Floor and Home, which is my father's company. We're a family-owned business since 1989. Everyone in the community knows us. We won the Super Service Award, the 10-tier Diamond Award, A+ in the BBB, and this past December, Bruce Blakeman awarded us the Nassau County Citation for contributions to the community and its residents. We supply and install flooring, kitchen and bath items, carpet, moldings, you name it. We have suppliers all over the U.S. that deliver our products, rolls of carpet, pallets of flooring, kitchen and bath orders, in 18-wheel tractor trailers that are roughly 8 to 10 feet wide and up to 60 feet long. We get multiple deliveries a day, and sometimes 2 or even 3 arriving together. And by the time we unload all the products and check inventory, it could take up to a half hour, sometimes even a full hour. Now imagine if Levitt Style, Taco Joe's, the bagel shop, or anyone else gets deliveries at the same time. That would be a traffic jam nightmare coming from Hempstead Turnpike all the way into the very small easement that's surrounding all the properties over there. And it would literally make it nearly impossible for 18-wheelers to maneuver in and out, especially to back out, not to mention the safety concerns and accidents that have happened in the past. Anyhow, as it stands now, there is barely enough space between Bola and the shopping center for deliveries to come in and out. But if we were to cut off any bit of that space, it would create a one-way in, no way out situation. Our business relies on receiving timely deliveries. I can't turn to Mr. Smith and say, I'm sorry, but you can't use your bathroom for a week because we can't receive deliveries now after 35 years of business due to Bola Market blocking access to our warehouse. We're here today to discuss possible changes to the easement that was drawn up over 40 years ago. Well, we'd like to make changes also. We'd like it to be larger. In fact, it needs to be larger since delivery trucks are literally twice the size now compared to 40 years ago. Even milk deliveries come in tractor trailers now. It's just how things are in 2025. So if we try to go by that very narrow easement drawn up in 1974, then we'd be more or less writing a death sentence to all of our businesses, to Levitt Style, to Class Carpet Floor and Home, to Class Remodeling, Taco Joe's, Western Union, Pantano's Bagel, Novo Kitchen and Bath, Levittown Barber Brothers, High Convenience, and Jacob's Woodcraft. Is that really what we want to do? To cause 10 hardworking, established businesses to suffer and possibly relocate or even go out of business? BOLA wants less restrictions for their business. We understand that, but we want the same for all of our businesses. What's good for the collective is good for BOLA also. We have a population issue in New York as it is. Almost every city in the U.S. is growing.
Kevin, you can submit the rest of that. We have a 3-minute timer. You can submit the rest of that in writing. I know you have something in writing if you want to submit that part of the record. Okay?
Sorry, what was that?
There's a 3-minute timer. If you'd like to submit that in the writing, we can make it part of the record. No, I have to hold firm on the 3, but we'll take it, give it to her. We'll put it for part of the record. I promise you. Thank you. Next, I have William Mahan.
I'm gonna ask them to.
What is the easement?
It's the way in and way out.
I know that, but
They own it. It's a, for all of them.
fix that.
So.
How you doing? If you give your name and address for the record, thank you.
Hello, my name is William Mullen. I reside at 19 Jerusalem Avenue, Levittown, New York, 11756. I'm here with my father, whose also name is William Mullen. Our company is Levitt Style Home Remodeling. We are the abutting property on the north side of the gas station facing Jerusalem Avenue. Our building goes up to the property line and our front door faces east towards Jerusalem Avenue. And we have a small loading parking area on the west end of our building. The only way to get to our parking loading area is to use the easement road on the gas station's property. As a construction, we get large deliveries of lumber, windows, doors, siding, roofing, etc., coming on large flatbed trucks. With the current layout of the gas station easements, these deliveries can be accomplished. However, with the new layout on the site plan, I believe that delivery trucks will either have a very hard time moving around the new BOLA building or just won't be able to, thus making our business and many other businesses in the area suffer and potentially go out of business as we heavily rely on these deliveries. Our business is not the only one that needs these existing easement areas. The Class Carpet, the Taco Joe's, Those Bagels, Jacob Woodscraft, and many more all have deliveries from large freight trucks that need these existing large area easements to turn around and back in. Another issue with the gas station property is that there is a lot of traffic around that gas station, mainly to get to our business and behind the Taco Joe's, Those Bagels, etc. parking lot. I believe with the new BOLA building will cause many accidents with drivers trying to get to the parking lot behind Taco Joe's, Those Bagels, especially with delivery trucks also trying to funnel into a very narrow easement road. I would recommend that the easements on both sides either stay the same or just be very minimal changes from curb to curb, probably around more like 50 feet on both sides, rather than what they are proposing now. That's it.
What?
They hardly
Okay.
do what I said.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Anything else you want to add? No. Sir. Sir.
That was it.
Thank you very much. We don't dictate from the audience how things are functioning here. We dictate how we run the meetings, but thank you very much. Are you done or did you want to add anything else?
No, that was it.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming in today. We appreciate it. All right. Next I have William Mullen.
He's with Levin.
Do you know him?
Yes.
Okay.
He's a good guy. Loves styles.
How you doing? If you give your name and address for the record.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bill Mullen. I'm the owner of Levitt Style. I'm so happy to see some friendly faces. Dennis, okay, Kate, okay. We are looking forward to Bola, moving into this corner. Alex, Kevin, we're all looking forward to it. Okay, so we're not here to stop them. We're asking that they understand that there are other businesses here that need to be considered. All right. Um, I am, Dennis knows, okay, on the job site all the time. I talk to the drivers all the time. I talk to the workers. I am in the field all the time with these guys. I've spoken to the Bola drivers, and I've spoken to the drivers that go to the Class Carpet, that go to Taco Joe's, that go to all the stores that are here. They are bringing big tractor trailers, okay? Bola's tractor trailer, okay, their oil truck is 40 feet long, plus the cab makes it 60 foot. We need the same tractor trailers and refrigerator trucks to support these other businesses that are functioning not on that map. That map, that plot plan doesn't show what's on the left of this site. It shows my building, that's the building north of it, but it doesn't show Class Carpet. Okay, there's an easement that runs across, okay, right behind the proposed Bola. Gentlemen, you didn't bring that up at all. Okay, and we're not really sure. What is this, a variance? Is this what is the point of this meeting? It took me a while to actually get all the letters that you have in front of you right now, okay, from the businesses in this neighborhood that are concerned about the pinch, the choke that's about to happen to them. And what we're asking, and it's on that drawing there, that we ask Bola to actually meet with us and ask us. And let's talk about the covenant, the easement that was created by Ben Zeno 30, 40, 50 years ago, okay? This Old English common law, but the public has used this lane for decades, okay? I've used it. Everybody has used this. We all know that everybody cuts through this thing to get from, to avoid the traffic light. I can tell you that the Bola trucks do not obey the yellow signs. They come from the other way, et cetera, et cetera. I'm okay with that. We're okay with that because what we do, what we set in the beginning doesn't happen, et cetera, all right? I want to finish with thank you very much for listening to us. Us four are representing 20 other individuals that are really asking you to look beyond this drawing, okay, and recognize that we need to be considered in this decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mullen.
Thank you. How many?
I do not have any other slips from anybody who wanted to be heard in the public. Is there anybody who wishes to be heard on this item that did not sign in? Then I will ask,
Them to address the,
Yep. I think, you've heard from a couple of the adjoining businesses. I think a little bit of clarification. I know the councilman was saying about the easement. Is there an easement with these properties?
Yeah, so it's a good point. We're happy to address it. So it's a little hard to see on the plan, but if there's a possibility, if you can zoom in a little bit. So there is 3 or 4 easements that actually access that go over this site. One is going to be a sewer easement, and the other are what they are speaking of, the ingress egress easements. Our building does not encroach on any of those easements. So to the north, the easement comes down to right where that curb line is. So where the yellow building is, you'll see there's a 2-foot line, a 2-foot offset. That's the back face of our curb. That is where that easement ends. So we are not disrupting the easement as part of our site plan. Additionally, to the west side, there's a 13.04 foot wide ingress egress easement, which is right by, you'll notice it right by the arrows. So we are actually expanding that space to leave a 24-foot wide ingress egress in that area, but only 13.04 of that is part of the easement. I don't want to speak to how they maneuver their trucks or how they handle their business, but in terms of the development touching the easements, they are not. We would not be permitted to go within an easement.
here's what I'm going to suggest. I eat at Taco Joe's. I do. I've been to the Chamber of Commerce with Levitt Styles, and they do a tremendous amount of work in Levittown and are always highly regarded. All of the stores that are there, even used to have the best bagel store right there too. But used to, yeah. I would like to see an agreement that one, you'll check out the egress going north on Jerusalem Avenue, just making them can only go south on Jerusalem Avenue creates a problem in my mind, because where my mom lived, now my son lives, is north. So when he comes out of there from Taco Joe's or wherever, and he goes north, he can get a ticket now, because this is what you're going to be putting in there. And not only my family, but every family north of the turnpike that goes there. And believe me, a lot of us do go there. And I want to see that rectified if we can. I'm going to ask that we reserve decision on this, but I want you to get together with the people that came today at the site and show them that you're going to be good neighbors and you're going to share that easement with them, so they're not going to have trouble going in and out, and you're not going to have trouble going in and out. And if there's a problem with your delivery times, you'll work something out together with each other, because they're good folks. I'm with them all the time. I see them, I spent my entire life, since 1950 I've been here, and that's a long time. And this has always been a bone of contention, because there's always been in bad weather, there's a flood there. You have to go almost on Levitt Stiles' property to get to Taco, if you go to the right, from Jerusalem Avenue. And so that there's problems with drainage there, and I'm sure you're going to address that, because you're not going to want the drainage problem. So if you sit down with them or go there and maybe have a taco at Taco Joe's and design it and walk out there and look at the site and come up with some kind of agreement in writing. Because you know what, you'll tell me something here and then something will change a month from now. Not you, but it's happened in the past. So I want to make sure everything's in writing. Please sit down with these fellows and gals that own those properties, that have that concern about the trucks coming in and out. And maybe you can have your deliveries at a different time or whatever, but figure something out. Be a good neighbor and make Levittown continue to be the wonderful place it is to live, because I'm going to stay there a long, long time. And I've been there a long time. And all my friends want to stay in Levittown. If people start leaving, that's not good. So would you promise me you'll get together? The people that spoke, would you raise your hand if you're okay with that? You're okay with it? All right, meeting with the bowl of people, maybe at Taco Joe's, to give them a little bit of business. I'll tell you what, I'll pay for it. You go to Taco Joe's, I'll pay for it. All right? But let's come down with a settlement, so we know that you can get in and out of there, and it'll be comfortable going in and out of my hometown. You'll do that? You promise you'll do that?
I will do that. I do just want to comment on one thing.
Yes.
I understand your concern with the access. Unfortunately, that is out of our hands. That is DOT. So Hempstead Turnpike is New York State DOT, and Jerusalem Avenue is Nassau County DPW. We tried to get full access. They would not give us full access. They are strict on the right in, right out only. We made the argument. It's a tough maneuver to make. So that is the only thing I did want to address to you.
Our friends in Nassau County and our friends in the state, you know what? Hold on. Listen, I think I don't think I've ever heard the phrase "breaking tacos," but the councilman is a very unique way. Look, I will say I think I could speak for anybody in the area that we're familiar with your client, and I do appreciate the fact that he invests in the property and all of his stores. No matter wherever you go, there's the upkeep and cleanliness, for a gas station improves the community. I don't think you've heard any of the adjoining store owners who were actually opposed to recognizing the investment in it. I think they're saying we need to make sure it doesn't affect our great businesses too. I laugh when he talks, and I look at our town clerk, because I do know the area very, very well. We've been doing it for a long time, and I think the councilman's request of saying, why don't we have a meeting with these great business owners, as you are a great business owner, and if it's a matter of reaching out to the county, between the combined effort of the councilman who was a legislator and our colleagues there, yeah, we can do that. Yes, New York State DOT is in and of itself a very unique entity. We have a new state senator, Sila Bino. She is the deputy supervisor, and I've been on the phone with her at least twice a week for the first 3 or 4 weeks with all the stuff they do up in Albany. You do have an opportunity, but I think the councilman's request of saying to you, why don't we sit down with a number of the players there to see if we can come up with a cohesive plan and a game plan, and if it involves us reaching out to other entities, we want to do that. Like I said, I know this. Kate, is it across from the old King Cullen, right? Yeah, I know this all too well. We just dropped a ton of money into the parking lot across the street, and it looks a lot nicer. And so you've heard no opposition really from them. They're just concerned businesses, and they'll embrace you. But I think you just got to come up with a cohesive plan. So I think I'd agree with the councilman's suggestion of a follow-up meeting. And what did you want to do with the vote on this? Did you want to reserve it, or what did you want to do?
Well, I think at this point, we're going to close the hearing for the time being and reserve decision on the application till you come down with something in writing that everybody's comfortable with, and you're going to be comfortable with it too, because you've been doing business there, they've been doing business there forever.
Yeah. Like I said to you, we have a lot of entities that come up in front of us. And like I said, your entity in particular, I think has been incredibly willingness to work with community. I've seen it in West Hempstead. We've seen it down in Oceanside, and we appreciate it. And I will say that you didn't hear these businesses say, we don't want, listen, we do enough of this. So we don't want this. They didn't say that at all. They're just saying, we have great thriving businesses here too, and we have some concerns about it. And I think we feel very confident that when you put all the players together, you know what, and if it requires us to do a little work, reaching out to some friends at some other entities of government to try and alleviate it, we'd like to get everybody on the same page, because your success is their success, and their success is yours, because people are they're gonna meet Dennis at the taco place apparently, and then they're gonna fill their car up with gas because he's there all the time, and that's a good thing. So with that, your motion is to.
Okay, my motion is to close the hearing and reserve decision on this item.
Okay.
And which means whenever it's resolved, it'll be resolved.
Yeah, like I said, would you say I should have grabbed everyone's card and kind of do a follow-up? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sooner the better.
Yeah, absolutely. Sooner the better.
As quickly as possible.
Great.
Meet me out there. We'll be
Okay. And for the residents that came here, the business, we appreciate it. Like I said, I get it, but we appreciate the fact you didn't say it was more like, hey, we like the idea of improving that corner. It's great for your business and working together. So if I can get a second on that.
A second motion.
Okay. So it's a motion to close the hearing, reserve decision. Aye.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye. And we appreciate it. And I do want to stress you, the tacos are really good. So enjoy. All right. So Madam Clerk, if you'll please call the next item.
We have the application of Fieldstone at Oceanside LLC to rezone a parcel of land from Residence B District to CA Residence District located at 2860 Brower Avenue in Oceanside.
Okay, and this was a continued hearing from January 7th. Am I correct about that?
You are correct.
Okay, I have a couple of slips on this. Harry Fernaris?
Good morning, Board. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Harry Fornaris from Greenberg Trorig LLP.
Okay.
So
anything to add, or?
What's that?
You just hear anything to add or no?
It comes up. No, I'm the attorney for the applicant.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, just here for the board.
We appreciate you coming in today, Harry. Thank you very much. I have Tim Lambert.
Morning.
Good morning. If you give your name and address for the record.
Good morning. My name is Tim Lambert. I live at 3012 Fortescue Avenue at Oceanside. I'm only a few blocks down from the development. I grew up in Rockville Center. I've lived in Oceanside now for over 16 years. I really hope that you reconsider 59 units. It's way too many. Okay, I'm an architect. I do local work. I know that you can divide that piece of land up into 20 detached single-family homes and be profitable. The traffic will be horrendous. Brower Avenue is already a terrible street. I know it's owned by the county, but it's like 25 feet wide. There's no curbs. People are parking on the side. They're even parking on the sidewalks. My son goes to the high school. I can't even drop him off in the morning. I tell him, you got to walk. I know it's raining, but you got to walk. I can't even get close to the high school. We have a real traffic problem. And if you look, maybe you get your own expert, you'll see that we have Joaquina, traffic problem. Brower, same thing. Oceanside Road is a cut through. Everyone from Long Beach and Island Park is coming through this area. It's like a triangle. And hey, listen, I'm not against development. I'm an architect. It's what I do. It's what I went to school for. My whole life is dedicated towards developing land. And I think something should be done here, but please, don't change the zoning, don't bail anybody out. 20 homes detached would be appropriate for the site. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lambert. Thank you very much for coming in today. Martha Salzberg? Hi, Ms. Salzberg. If you give your name and address for the record.
Hi, hi. My name is Martha Salzberg, and I live at 535 Links Drive East in Oceanside. And I know that Joaquin is a traffic problem because I need it every day. But I have to say, I'm cautiously optimistic about this development. Although everyone would prefer single-family homes, there are no developers offering to build them. This is the best plan we've seen. This developer has been responsive to community concerns expressed in 2 meetings by a lot of the immediately adjacent neighbors. I've been to all the meetings all the way back to the previous developer. They changed it from rentals to condo townhouses that will pay taxes. They reduced the number of units. This size property could actually have 90 units, and they started at 72, reduced it to 61, and the current plan is 59. They added a second access point on Brower when people said you're only going to have one access point. That's bad for fire trucks, not just people. While I'm not an OJC member, I realize that OJC needs closure on this issue so they can move on and they can downsize. And whether or not this development adds traffic, there's already a traffic problem. The high school's less than a quarter mile away down Brower. Brower is also the main access road to the kindergarten center where all Oceanside kindergartners go to one school, and that's less than a quarter mile north. And the elementary school that would serve this property is less than a half a mile south. The only thing that will truly help the traffic situation would be more buses to the high school and possibly to the kindergarten center. I know this is a school board issue, but they'll say they don't have the money. So I'm asking the town of Hempstead to earmark 50% of the taxes generated from developing this property as mitigation for the town of Hempstead, town of Oceanside, to accept this development. 50% of the taxes should be earmarked for the schools in Oceanside to add busing, particularly to the high school. Currently, it's only offered to 9th graders, and it's only offered to 9th graders that live, I believe, more than 2 miles away. And just as an aside, Oceanside residents have a civic alliance, and we would really like to know more about all the Oceanside issues that are on the agenda. So, Ms. Ryder, I would really ask you to reach out to the Civic Association and keep us informed. There are like 5 Oceanside issues on the agenda today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for coming in. I do want to point out, when I was receiver of taxes, it was probably 65% of all the property taxes are going to the Oceanside School District. So I'd imagine it's probably creeped up a little bit more in the last couple of years here. Next I have Regina Pasqualina. How you doing? If you just go to the back mic there, and good to see you.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing? Name and address. Thank you.
Regina Pasqualino. I live at 495 Gifford Avenue, Oceanside. I lived in Oceanside most of the 66 years of life. I came from from Brooklyn to Queens to Oceanside. I'm getting a little disheartened that Oceanside is starting to look more and more like Queens and Brooklyn from where I came. Not that there's anything wrong with Brooklyn or Queens. I love it. But first of all, I never heard of this notice. I never heard of the rezoning, unless I was taking a walk and people put signs up about the rezoning. As the gentleman who said he was an architect had stated, this is a disaster. We forget what happened with Sandy? There are so many homes already that where land used to be to absorb the water is now being infiltrated into people's basements. There's no land anymore. If there's enough land for a toothpick, they build. And I understand there's profit to be gained, but there's a lot to be lost by our community in constant building. The traffic already is horrendous. I fought years when my daughter went to school number 3 to have a rezoned section at Brower and Harold. They put a one-way street that doesn't solve the problem because people still exceed the speed limit. From the high school where it's 20 miles an hour, they do 30 to 40. There's a school crossing guard there. It's just going to cause there are accidents, constant accidents on Brower Avenue, where cars have gone on people's property. Not to mention the waste management, the electricity, the cost of what it's going to do to put up, more accessibility for these homes to exist. I don't even like the idea of 20 homes that gentleman mentioned, but that's at least a little bit more feasible. Why not make it a park, for goodness sakes, for the kids to go to, a playground where you don't see kids outside anymore. They don't play on the block. Give them a place where they can enjoy the fresh air. I don't know what else I have to say about it. If you just, I did send an email to Ms. Ryder. I've not heard back. Again, I would like to have more information about these public hearings. I'm really disheartened that I did not. A lot of my friends and neighbors are also against it. Drainage, coastal evacuation route is already a nightmare. That God forbid that we should have to evacuate. Emergency snow removal, EMS, fire department. I oppose it strongly. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming in. I don't have any of the slips on this item. Is anybody that wishes to be heard that did not sign in that wishes to be heard on this?
Yes.
Okay, good morning. If you give your name and address for the record, thank you.
Good morning. Nita J. Maraday,
Okay, come on.
resident and taxpayer, Town of Hempstead. The previous speaker motivated me to speak with regard to this issue because we're still not looking at, again, what's happening underneath. For those who live in Oceanside, I live now in Baldwin. The sinkhole problems that we have is a glaring scenario that our infrastructure cannot sustain what we already are living on. But regardless of that, unfortunately, what happens generally in the township is that they'll hear what you say, and if enough of you show up, they won't necessarily decide on it today, but they'll wait till you have to go back to work, go back to taking care of your family, go back to the many things that you have to do to pay these high property taxes and the low services. I also echo the sentiment of our representation in the township, because we don't hear from Councilwoman Ryder either in Baldwin. So you're not alone in that. The development, unfortunately, is going to happen. They're not worried about the blade of grass for the young people. They're not worried about parks. Okay, I was born and raised in Roosevelt. And even though the county, as was previously mentioned, there are colleagues and former representation on this board who worked at the county, Roosevelt has a mud hole that used to be its Central Park. But, everybody stood around when they had a cricket match that was built, standardized for a one-week tournament, but the park is still a mud hole in Roosevelt. So they don't care about that either. But unfortunately, they're going to approve this, okay? They're going to approve the other development as well when nobody's here to say anything about it. But it's up to residents to be consistent in your opposition. You can't just necessarily get the representation here because it's not going to happen. So you might have to go to, your state representatives. Forget federal. There's nothing there. There's no help there. As I stand here as a person of color, as federal mandates are stripping away anything that's representative, as I stand here again in Black History Month, which may be challenged because it may be seen as something that has a wokeness quality or it incorporates a DEI model. But you have to continue, and I urge you to continue to use your voice and have your neighbors as well to continue to use their voices. Maybe it won't cause a ripple now, but its stagnant water moves absolutely nothing. So continue to throw the rocks in the pond. Maybe somewhere, someone will listen and make a change before we have another natural or man-made disaster. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else wish to be heard?
We have
Okay.
ladies in the front.
Do the back area where you're going to speak in the mic, and ma'am, if you want to walk over there. Yeah, if you want to come over to the podium there. You need a little help? We'll go bring it over to you. Kate's got it. Come on, we'll get it for you. Joe's just a little slow. Yep. There you go. How you doing? If you give your name and address, thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. I've lived in the town of Oceanside for 71.
What your name and address, ma'am?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Cynthia Ferraro.
Thanks,
I
Ms.
live
Ferraro.
at 151 Davison Avenue, right by the corner of Oceanside Road. Okay, I've lived in Oceanside for 71 years, my entire life. I love the town, and I feel that you're trying to make us into a congested city. I live on Davison Avenue, one house from Oceanside Road. The traffic is horrendous all morning long, hearing horns blowing as soon as the light changes. The line goes all the way down to the library. It's in the same in the afternoon. There are always accidents at the corner because even the signal lights are set up stupidly. It's only turning for one direction, nobody else. My house is valued at $740,000. I have a property of 80 by 153 feet and 2,025 square foot is my home. How are you going to sell these houses for more than my house is worth? Smaller size, all butted up against each other, all trying to sell them for $750,000 to $900,000? That is disgraceful. My home is worth less than those midget houses that you're speaking of. Oceanside Road is the main access for all ambulances from Long Beach and Island Park. The traffic is always backed up, and by adding another 59 houses with at least 2 cars per house will further inhibit the ambulances from getting to the hospital in a reasonable time. The town doesn't need any more residents according to Oceanside statistics. We have almost 32,000 people living in a 4 by 9 square mile radius. The records are only accurate to the ones that partook in the census. I'm sure that any immigrants or homeowners with illegal apartments didn't sign the census correctly or at all. So your counts could be well below actual residents of Oceanside. This project is completely absurd. There is no way that 59 houses can be built on that piece of land. How many stories will these be? The so-called townhouses. Also, why is the entrance on Oceanside Road, which I found out you also made it Brower Avenue, so I didn't know about that. The summertime, drivers always use Oceanside Road to get to the beach in Long Beach. Long Beach Road is already over-congested all the time with trucks, cars, and buses. We don't need anything else. You want to put 20 houses in? I thought that guy had a good idea. Anything more than that is wasted. You're creating more of an aggravation. And I can't stand listening to the women. Or at night.
Speak into the mic.
There you go.
Oh, it's all these people taking their kids to school, the high school. The traffic light should have a turning lane in all 4 directions. You have a turning.
Thank you, Mr. Davidson. I see you had something in writing. Did you want to submit that as part of the record? You read a little bit. Did you want to make that part of the record?
I was actually just talking at that.
No, okay, but I'm saying, did you want to? I know you wrote something down. We can submit that as part of the record if you want.
Oh, you want that?
Yeah, we'll take that. Okay. Thank you very much. I know we had the gentleman. Did you want to speak on? Who wanted to speak back there?
Okay.
Okay.
We'll make that part of the
record too. Sir, if you give your.
Hi, Frank Wassenberg, Oceanside, New York. There was a small procedural issue with this one where people from the town were calling in and told that today was just a vote and they couldn't speak actually today. So it kind of caught a lot of people off guard.
But we actually made it really clear at the last board meeting. I'm just letting you know, just so you know, at the last board meeting, we had a lot of people here and we made sure we made it that we were keeping it open and everybody knew that. So and by the way, I just want to let you know. So if anybody says it.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
I appreciate that because I think there's the right wording for this is understanding of what the procedures actually mean.
Yeah.
When we left, the 2 lovely women up front who were very helpful said, we're actually the ones that were telling people there would only be a vote today. So that's why there was about 24 people that wanted to come and speak against, which I appreciate you.
And by the way, I know the councilwoman and I have received numerous emails, and they're part of the record. We told everybody.
And that's great. And that's, I hope that does help a lot. I do stand with the people in voting against this project. It's just, there is just too many houses that are going to be going into this property to help in any way, shape, or form for people. There's photos that were sent to you guys of the traffic poles that have been crashed through and taken out in their entirety, the people whose homes have been driven on by cars. The side streets into here are already raceways for people. So I do just want to speak again to the fact that 59 units being crammed into a neighborhood like this, it's just not needed. There's no viable reason for this project except for two parties to greatly, greatly increase their own wealth. And I appreciate your time and effort. Thank you guys very much for the consideration of the project.
Thank you very much. Anybody else wish to be heard on this? Okay. If not,
Mr. Supervisor and members of the board, I did receive a letter from the applicant's attorney outlining, among other things, that it would be put back on the tax rolls because, based upon what's there now, it's an exempt status, and they offer the community benefit.
Okay.
And I'm going to make it a part of the record.
Okay. With that, any motion on this?
Yeah, Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to make a comment. To the woman from Oceanside, I did receive your email, and I have read every single email for and against this project. Typically I don't respond to them. We just print them out, and I keep them in my office, but I have read every single one. Based on more work that I would like to do on this matter, Mr. Supervisor, I would request that we vote to reserve decision on this matter at this time.
I second the motion.
Okay. So we're making a decision to reserve decision. Like I said, we've received a number of emails, and that's part of the record. And there's no decision being made at this time. And to the residents down there, when we do, we'll let you know when it is and it comes up there. And so we'll do right by everybody that came here. So I will vote along with the councilwoman's request to reserve decision.
We had a second?
We had a second from the deputy supervisor, if I remember correctly. Am I right?
You're right.
All right.
Thank you. Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Okay. Thank you all. Now I'm going to make a motion on the administrative calendar.
Yes, there are items 7 through 43 on the administrative calendar. I also have one item that is of an urgent or emergency nature. It is entitled Resolution Calling a Public Hearing on a Local Law to Enact Chapter 101-B of the Hempstead Town Code in relation to a temporary moratorium on battery energy storage system facilities.
Okay.
This will be added to the administrative calendar as item number 44.
Okay. Any member of the board wish to be heard on the administrative calendar?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to make a comment on, please, on that emergency matter. I'd like to thank you for placing this matter on the calendar at my behest. And I'm very much in favor of a moratorium. There are great concerns that the residents of Island Park have expressed to both you and I, particularly the residents of Island Park and Oceanside. So I'm asking that we please vote on a moratorium on this matter.
Okay. Thank you very much, Councilwoman. And again, I think you and I talked. We've had a great number of residents in those areas who expressed concerns, and we want to do the right thing. And I think it's good to have the public hearing on it. Any other comments on the administrative calendar? Okay. I have a couple of slips in the administrative calendar. I have Rhonda Eisenberg. Hi, Ms. Eisenberg. If you go back to the mic there. It's like a cut through there. Very well done there. I like that. I don't know if you see that too often in this place. All right. If you give your name and address for the record. Oh my God, please help her with the mic. Can you lower the mic? It's in the poor woman's skull. So just
vertically challenged here.
That's okay. Could you guys, somebody just go back there and give it help in it. Guys, any Joe back there. Joe, apparently you lift 500 pounds. Maybe you could lower that mic for us. I appreciate it. Thanks.
I just hold it.
Joe, don't scare the woman.
Morning. My name is Rhonda Eisenberg. My address is 2354 Harrison Avenue in Baldwin. I'm here about the housing development project that's going to be on Grand Avenue. So I just want to say, first of all, I believe in affordable housing, but 4 housing developments within less than a square mile of one another is really like just too much. The one about to be completed on Merrick Road, okay. The one that was proposed to replace the bagel store north of Sunrise Highway, okay. But the one on Grand Avenue replacing the funeral home affects my neighbors on Harrison Avenue and Bixby Drive. The one on Sunrise Highway in Harrison impacts all of us on Harrison Avenue tremendously, and I have to say that most of my neighbors are against this. About a year and a half ago, when I brought this up, and I asked you, Supervisor Clavin, why did you stand with the Great Neck residents against a housing project over there, but were for the one in Baldwin? You said because it was Hochul who wanted the one in Great Neck. And you said, we don't want Hochul control, we want local control. I was very struck by the wittiness of your rhyme. Then, this past December, when I brought it up again, you said that this development was what the state wanted, that it's Hochul control. So, I felt that was a little contradiction, and I really don't know what's going on. All I know is that, as someone previously said, you know, this is not Brooklyn and Queens, and I love Brooklyn and Queens too. I grew up in the Bronx. But I didn't come here for that. It's too many developments in one area. Also, one of the supervisors said that you'd let us all know about them, and no one came to the meeting. You must have advertised in the Baldwin Herald, which is really not the place you're going to get people to respond. Instead, why don't you, when you have a hearing about something like this, send one of those placards, like the one I just got about e-cycling, which was great. I have it on my refrigerator, so I know I can e-cycle. We just need more communication, as other people have said as well. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Next, I have Michelle Oder. Morning, name and address for the record.
Yes, hi, good morning. Michelle Oder, Bixby Drive, Baldwin. I think you know why I'm here. I've been here every month for the last 5 months. I am vehemently opposed to the project that is being transferred, the 2283 Grand Avenue project. I'm vehemently opposed to this project, and I'm going to stand here and tell you exactly what I told you on October 3rd of 2023. That I am going to fight this project legally and with the help of my neighbors. And please do not underestimate my ability to gather my neighbors together to join this fight with me. To date, I have already obtained over 100 signatures of the residents just on Bixby Drive and Harrison Avenue who are going to join me to fight this project. So I'm sure you know the background. First of all, it's being transferred to John Pacey, who was one of the original investors. It's the same old Greg DeRosa project. At the IDA meeting, Peter Curry stood up on the 21st of January and said that it's a new project, everything is new. Well, go read the IDA proposal. It is a copy and paste. This is just a recycling of the fraudulent documents that Greg DeRosa presented standing right here. I've said this 3 times already. Okay, so go take a look at them yourself. So he claimed it's a new project. If it's a new project, then JAEP Properties needs to have to start all over again. They need to have a new board meeting. They need to send out certified letters to me and my neighbors, and we need to start from square one. That site plan needs to be dissected, and it needs to be reevaluated. And as my neighbor Rhonda said, enough is enough in Baldwin already. You have 214 apartments going up on Sunrise Highway and Harrison Avenue, and we have the same problem as some of these other residents talked about. Harrison Avenue cannot handle this traffic. Okay, but you dismiss that. We don't need 54 apartments going in this tiny little area where Ceceri's Funeral Home is. You have another building going up north of Grand Avenue underneath the railroad, and one that's already half built on Merrick Road. That is upwards of 334 apartments in a half a mile radius around residential property in Baldwin. Donald Clavin, before the election, you were gung-ho, build, 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 build. And then all of a sudden, he sent out one of these flyers. Save our suburbs. Stop the urbanization of Long Island. Donald Clavin, can you look at me when I talk to you? All of a sudden, you are now back to build, build, build. This project in Baldwin needs to be shut down. And I promise you that I will go through every legal avenue. I will engage everybody on Harrison and Bixby Drive whose project is affected. John Pacey, JAEP, come and buy my house. You want to get rid of me? Come buy my house, incorporate it in your project, and I will not oppose this project anymore. But as long as a monster is going in my backyard, I will not give up this fight.
Okay.
Come buy my house, John Pacey.
As always, we appreciate it. Is there anybody else wish to be heard? If not, can I have a motion on the administrative calendar? Oh, I'm sorry. If you give your name and address, thank you.
Meta J. Maraday, Baldwin resident. Again, I always encourage residents, you don't necessarily have to live in Baldwin. This is the town of Hempstead matter, and anything it impacts, the number of settlements and lawsuits that the town nor the county seem to win are based upon these types of shenanigans that go on a regular basis. And if we don't step up and speak up, the devastation that will occur with the underground infrastructure that is consistently being weakened in our communities, and we sit back and say nothing because you think it's not in your backyard. It is in your backyard. It's in Baldwin's backyard. It's in Oceanside's backyard, Wantor's backyard, Belmore's backyard. I pass by a school, elementary school, all the time. 20 years ago, they were trying to shut that down and make that housing. It doesn't take a lot of voices, but if you have no voice, you should have no time to complain about what's going on. This project, as they said, is a disaster waiting to happen. It's a disaster waiting to happen, and residents are not being informed. And I'm at the majority of these meetings, as most people know. Our voices are not being heard, and I'm tired of being one of the singular voices that speak to these issues. So I'm always encouraged by other residents who step up and speak up with regard to this. But you have to look, and I'm hoping that my Baldwin resident will continue to dig, because the chain link to all of this, is obvious. You have to always follow the money. You got to follow the donations. You got to follow the contributions. You got to follow the family relationships. Who's working for who? Who's consulting for who? So if we don't do anything now in this agenda with this current administration on the federal, state, and local side, because it's not just about a tax coming against people who look like me, folks. Okay, DEI has nothing to do with a woman of color. It's impacting race, gender, sexual orientation. As I stand here today, the federal protections as we stand here today, only at this point in time, if you don't raise your voice, will just protect barely our veterans and people with disabilities. Period. That's it. And with the number of veterans that are committing suicide on a daily basis, they're not getting served either. We thank them and spit in their eye if they're laying on the street. So if we don't stand up, for all of you that sit here, we don't stand up and speak up today, don't complain when you have to drive by particular streets on Grand Avenue where we've already had 4 sinkholes, and worry if the next time you go through one, because right now we're all getting buried under. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Maraday. Great. I don't have anybody else that signed in on the administrative calendar. If you'd like to be heard, you come to the back, give your name and address. Thank you.
I'm sorry, can you clarify if
Your name and address?
Christina Kramer, 361 East Broadway, Long Beach. Can you clarify if we are supposed to speak now about, if we want to speak about the best because you put it on the administrative calendar, or if we speak after?
Are you talking about the moratorium?
Yes.
No, it's going to be at the next hearing. We're going to have the hearing on. John, what date is that? 25th.
No, I know, but I'd like to speak today also on like the good and welfare portion of it.
If you want to speak on the administrative calendar, you can, but I'm saying it's not a public hearing on it right now, so we're not considering any of that. But if you want to talk about it, you can talk about it now or in the public
Time to
comment.
start now because it's just, because I was just clarifying.
You got 3 minutes,
Really?
you come back after and do the public comment too. Don't worry, we're not going
I'll go
anywhere.
to public comment.
There you go. So there you go. You get 3 minutes. We're good. Anybody else wish to be heard on the administrative calendar? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the administrative calendar in its entirety, including number 44, be added to the list.
Thank you. Got a second on the administrative calendar?
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Tommy.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
I'm going to say yes on all items and recuse myself on administrative calendar number 39.
Okay. Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
And Councilman Schneider.
Aye. Okay, make a motion to adjourn?
I move that we have joined the meeting.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye. Okay, and now as customary with the town, we'll remain to listen to the comments of residents. And I will start with Christina Kramer.
Christina Kramer, Long Beach, New York. Reasons for banning best bombs. The Fire Interagency Working Group have recommendations for updating safety regulations for lithium battery storage. The recommendations by the working group do nothing to deal with the root cause issue of the battery instability and toxicity. Paul Rogers, the fire expert who presented at Seacliff, said the air test results by the EPA and other experts do not pose a threat to the public. However, water and soil were not tested by the EPA. Due to the California Moss Landing Best Fire, scientists at San Jose State University have found heightened levels of heavy metals in nearby Elkhorn Reserve, and up to 2 miles away, despite the initial reports from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and local authorities that the January 16th fire did not release toxins. Paul Rogers is the principal founder of the Energy Safety Response Group, otherwise known as ESRG. ESRG has contracts with several battery companies on Long Island and across the country. Paul Rogers is a paid consultant and a proponent of BESS, a retired FDNY lieutenant of a fire department. Paul Rogers, as a BESS proponent, answered questions of the residents at Seacliff. He said nothing's going to happen. Well, here we are, and it has happened again. Paul Rogers advises against evacuations. Let it burn and shelter in place are his safety measures. In a recent Newsday article, he stated that. The Piqua battery burn update in Ohio, a report from the Ohio EPA and Regional Air Pollution Control Agency issued several violations to Rogers because he went there to his company at the center of he was at the center of a community uproar from Piqua City residents due to their lithium battery burn testing at a site of an old Piqua water treatment plant. On September 22nd, 2023, Ohio EPA and RAPC agreed ESRG is to cease all destructive and non-destructive testing. The Ohio EPA issued the following statement. The ESRG installed and operated 2 air contaminant resources, an enclosed burn room and an outdoor burn area without submitting a PTIO application or permit that includes evaluating battery and air toxins. The bottom line is that we have the fox guarding the hen house here. we were asking for a moratorium. We've called every one of you sitting up there. None of you will make appointments to meet us, although we've heard some of you are in support of what we have to say. We wanted a moratorium, but now we want to plan for a ban. Let's learn before we burn. Ban the best bombs all over Long Island. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Hillary Flanagan? Good morning, your name and address. Thank you.
Good morning, Hillary Flanagan, Belmore, New York. Good morning, Supervisor and Town Board members. We do appreciate your time in listening to all of our concerns on the reiteration of two major points on Golden Animal Alliance not taking over for privatization of the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter. Resumes of all parties, whether board members or references, have zero experience responsible for caring over 5,000 animals annually. Again, why doesn't it rate a red flag that this company has not set foot in the shelter even once in the 2 times that it has bid? How do you bid something of this magnitude, sight unseen, and operations not reviewed? I emailed you all after our last meeting in regards to the unprofessional behavior displayed and hope you read that information, as I do not want to repeat that language used towards Mr. John DiLeonardo. No matter how you feel personally about Mr. DiLeonardo, that was unwarranted conduct, especially coming from an attorney. As volunteers, we have been professional and desire a better relationship. We have not once erupted or been rude, but would defend anyone spoken to in that manner, and so should you. Mr. DiLeonardo, in case you are not aware, has worked with the Town of Hempstead in various cases of rescue from deplorable conditions and animal abuse. He's taken animals from drug dens, dog fighters, and animal sacrifices in Town of Hempstead in just the past few months. He rescued over 110 animals for a single case in 2020 and over 100 animals just 1 year ago. He arranged the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter and is instrumental in creating a relationship with Barrier Brewing Company to hold adoption events and promote our animals. I am grateful for what he does and brings to the town as a benefit for TOHS and its animals, community, and wildlife. On a completely different topic, while we are not privy to legalities on many issues, especially as volunteers, I do object to persons misleading to damage TOHS's image and in turn the animals to undo the tremendous good work on a daily basis done by the staff and volunteers. You may not be able to control or cease information on social media, but what you can do is not allow misinformation to enter your decision-making processes, especially when you know directly how far it is from logical and legal fact. It is disappointing in any issue, and I'm sure you are not, placating falsehoods rather than move forward in conviction. Please do not allow any individuals with no merit, credentials, or moral standing to influence or allow any animal to suffer, especially by continuing to damage reputations, harass shelter management when these decisions are made at the Town of Hempstead level rather than the shelter level. Those persons, in the words of Albert Einstein, whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted in important matters. This is especially true for those who have no regard for anyone but themselves. To paraphrase Dean Koontz, the opportunity to love a dog or any animal for that matter and to treat with kindness is an opportunity for a lost and selfish heart to be redeemed. The animals are powerless and innocent, and how we treat our humblest among us surely determines the fate of our souls. I'm going to leave you with some photos of animals. I'd like you to review these cases if you could.
Very much. We appreciate it. We'll take those photos from Ms. Flanagan. Next, I have Janice Blake. All right, good morning. Name and address for the record. Thank you.
Good morning, Janice Blake, Elmont, New York. I'd like to speak in defense of John Lee Darrow and Humane Long Island. I have nothing but good relationship with him. He's always helped me whenever I found a duck or something at the Belmont racetrack, and I called him and I said, there's ducks out here, there's chickens out here, blah, blah, blah. He came and got them. And I didn't read the article that slandered him or said those things, but I would just like to say that I've always had good relations with him and his company. And I read other things that he does to help the animals. The other person that's trying to buy the shelter, I know the vet that they use, Dr. Sierra he was at Belmont. They suspended him because he was treating horses that he never seen. So he was just like basically giving drugs out. You know, God only knows where they ended up. But and into what horse and when and how. And he's a little shady as far as his practices. He's no longer on the racetrack. Another thing I would like to say is I do a lot of trapping, TNR, and just try to help people. I don't work with any particular group but myself because it's too much trouble trying to work with cat ladies, as J.D. Vance would say. And I just work by myself, and I try to get other people to take them in so that I don't have to take them in myself, because my name is just like on the list at Town of Hempstead of, I don't know what list it's on, but it's on a list. And anytime I go there, it's like I get third degree. So I try to have other people do this stuff for me. Once in a while, I have to take the cats in myself. And it's just like I always get like the third degree. And one time I had to go all the way home and get this form that I forgot that the lady signed. And I said, well, I'll just bring it back when I pick up the cat. Oh, no, you got to have it now, or else we're not going to take the cat into TNR. So, that being said, for traffic on the southern state, I had to go all the way back home. I'm taking care of my mom, whose birthday's today. She's 94. I'm trying to get all this done. I'm trying to help people. And I mean, cut me a break, and then, I got to ask Ashley. No, Ashley says you got to have the right paperwork. Really? So I went all the way back home, drove all that way, 8 o'clock in the morning, rush hour. Seriously, give me a break. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Blake. Always nice to see you. Melinda Peck? Melinda Peck? Okay. Yeah, Ms. Peck? No, Ms. Peck, okay. Michelle Loder? If you signed up, if you wanted to speak again in the public sector, it's your choice. No. I'll give you an opportunity to speak. But Ms. Sardi, you signed up. Would you like to speak or not? Okay. You signed. Okay. Okay. Next, I have Jack Russo. Did you sign up? Well, people signed up. At the end, I opened it up to people who didn't. You don't get to speak for Ms. Oder. She had her opportunity. Okay. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to sign up, or we'll give you an opportunity. You're going to be heard. Don't worry. Mr. Russo?
Good afternoon, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. As I think you know, my name is Jack Russo. I represent Goldman Animal Alliance with regards to their proposal.
I can't hear you. Can you speak?
My apologies. With regards to their proposal to privatize the Hempstead Animal Shelter. Somehow, I don't know why, but somehow this seems to have become a referendum on Mr. John DiLeonardo, when the real issues, obviously, are the issues at the animal shelter. Just to acquaint the board, as well as Mr. DiLeonardo's followers, with regards to the accuracy of his information, in his latest missive to the board, he's identified Michael Rubenstein as a veterinarian that worked at the New York City ASPCA. Mr. Rubenstein has never been a veterinarian. Mr. Rubenstein is a general contractor who was part of this board to oversee the maintenance and the 6-point upgrade of the facility. So, firstly, he's never worked in the capacity of a veterinarian whatsoever. As the board knows, this is the second time an RFP has gone out for this project. This is the second time my client has been the sole bidder. I believe Mr. Politi is going to address the allegations that my client's never been to the shelter. That's patently false. My client has assembled a team of eminently qualified individuals to execute this plan. 3 veterinarians, 2 animal behaviorists, a former animal cruelty investigator, at least 2 other individuals that have extensive shelter experience. Not to mention Mr. Berman himself, who has access to animal prescription medications at a staggering discount for both shelter animals as well as the animals that are fortunate enough to have owners here in the town of Hempstead. Again, to have the amount of time, effort put forth by both my client and the town to solve these issues is hard to even quantify. But to have it derailed by the rantings of an ill-informed, self-proclaimed activist from a completely different county, let alone town, would be unjust at best.
Thank you, Mr. Russo. Next, I have Tim Kramer. Morning, Mr. Kramer. If you give your name and address for the record.
Sure. Tim Kramer, 361 East Broadway. I'm here representing Protect Our Coast, Long Island, New York, with regard to the BESS battery systems. Last council meeting, the ladies asked for a moratorium on the BESS systems on Long Island, and more specifically here in the town of Hempstead. And the council said that a moratorium was not needed. They even spoke with Mr. Muscalara, I believe, town attorney, and Mr. Muscalara also dismissed and said that a moratorium was not necessary. Just to give you a little background, this is a bunch of ladies. They've been working on these issues for a couple of years. They're fiercely devoted to this this cause. I can speak for that firsthand. So they filed for a FOIL and found out that the council voted to give a permit on the BESS battery systems. And I just questioned how do we get from that it's not needed to voting on a permit, and now we understand that we're back to a moratorium. So this kind of leads to lack of confidence in government. In all honesty, these BESS systems are incredibly dangerous. The one that they plan to put in Island Park is within 2 miles of a bunch of various schools. Lincoln Oren, 0.7 miles. Long Beach High School, 1.8 miles. Long Beach Middle School, 1.8 miles. East Elementary School, 1.5 miles. And we all know at this point, regarding the California forest fires, they had one of these BESS battery systems blow up. It's called Moss Landing, and called for an evacuation of a lot of people in the area, and it released toxins and so on and so forth. So to iterate what my wife had said, we're not asking for a moratorium at this point. We're asking for a ban. These are not safe, and we are on a crusade to educate everyone in the community about these what we call BESS bombs at this point. Thank you for your time.
That's the slips I have for the public comment. I know a couple of people maybe who did not sign in wanted to speak. Did you want to sign in, or did you want to come to the back and give your name and address now? That'd be great. Okay, that's great. Well, you can speak right after this young lady can. Thank you so much for talking out loud. We'll appreciate it. That's okay. Thank you so much. I know it's always last word. Always last word. We understand. Good morning. If you give your name and address, that would be great. Thank you.
My name is Gina Rodway. I'm at 2339 Harrison Avenue, Baldwin. I'm here again to speak on the issues that concern Baldwin as far as the developments that are occurring within 1 square mile. I have to say a half a mile of Baldwin, of all these different developments of apartment buildings that are occurring in my neighborhood. I live on Harrison Avenue. Everything that my neighbors and friends have said that are occurring in Baldwin as a result of these developments, I wholeheartedly agree with. We've been talking to the board about this for, it seems like years, and nothing is ever being looked at in our concern. It's never our concern. We pay taxes. How come that's a concern, but our concerns where we are never seem to be a concern? There's a perpetual lack of communication. We hear it all the time. And at this particular point, it makes us go, if you want to say willy-nilly, to know that we live in this town of this county of Nassau, and nothing ever seems to be done in a way that accounts for the people and the towns that are in Nassau County. I hear it all the time. It's almost as if, you're listening, but you're not listening. You're here, but you're not really here. At this particular point, what would you like the townspeople of Nassau to do to get you to understand what it is we are all saying? Communication is one of the first things. You hear it, it's a common ground. The development of all these housing projects are all over Nassau County, and it's causing somewhat of a little ruckus in Nassau County. Please listen to what the people are saying. That's what you're here for. And actually help us.
Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Meriday, did you want to speak?
Is it okay, sir, if I speak on issues that I pay taxes for, that I've signed up for, that I don't get the opportunity every time? I don't know how many ways I can say how I need to speak on certain
Ms.
sections.
Meriday, I've been
This is my
enjoying you at every
3
town board
minutes.
meeting.
This
You
is
trust
my
me when I
3
say,
minutes.
I think
Okay.
I speak for the town board when I say, we get to hear you all the time. So
Yeah, well,
this is your opportunity.
former First Lady of the United States said, if there's one thing I've learned in life, it's the power of using your voice. Last week, you might have been lucky because I didn't have a voice with my 9/11 connected chronic bronchitis and COPD, but I'm here today. I didn't want to bring up the other issues that was on that administrative calendar because I'm hoping that Newsday or some media publication will get to the bottom of the lack of transparency and, as was restated today, the lack of communication that is inherent with this particular town board. If the residents don't stand up and speak up, when you fall through that sinkhole, both figuratively and literally, don't say anything about it. You want to know what to do? If you have somebody that's sitting in the swamp in DC that's ready to cut income taxes, don't pay the local tax. Don't pay the town tax. Sometimes you have to do drastic measures. If somebody who's been insulting of certain ethnic groups is going to have a problem when the minority congressman says that we need to take these issues to the street, then that speaks loudly. I sat in a meeting last week with the $4.2 billion budget-heavy Nassau County legislators when you had the 7 who represent the minority side, not minority groups, the minority side, and they were begging for some answers from the county executive as to why there are 30 projects that impact the communities that most of you sit in were neglected over the course of a year and a half. But the ones that represent the 12 in the majority side seem to always get the funding. Why is that? Do we not pay our taxes equally? Our voices are not getting heard. You have consistently disrespected me and other people who have stood before here, who've taken the time to come here to be heard. The transparency is real. The corruption is real. When is it going to be addressed? I am only hoping that the media organizations that can fight for what is our first fundamental right, which is freedom of speech, will get the word out as to how badly our resources are being misaligned and misappropriated. That's what I needed to stand up here and say. So if I feel that I'm being disrespected, you're doggone right, I'm going to say something. And if I can't speak it, I will write it. Thank you.
Ms. Meriday. Next, Mr. Paliti. Name and address of the record. Thank you.
My name is Steve Politi. I too represent Goldman Alliance in their RFP to take over the privatizing of the Hempstead Animal Shelter. Today I want to note a few things that I think are of paramount importance to the board and to the community. We invited in our last opportunity to speak everyone associated with any opposition to this project to reach out to myself and Mr. Russo. Just want the board to know, none of the people who come before you looking for the facts reached out to either of us. We still extend that opportunity because we understand that the people who are speaking are very much concerned about the animals and the care that they're given and the care that they're going to receive. We want to answer their questions because, unfortunately, as Mr. Russo mentioned, this is not a referendum on whether or not John DiLeonardo is a decent person, whether or not he means well in other jurisdictions, whether or not he's opposed to this project because of certain individuals that he may have some petty arguments with. We don't care about Mr. DiLeonardo. We care about the animals. We care about getting this RFP approved so that the Hempstead town residents can all benefit from the many services that Goldman Alliance is going to be able to offer that currently they cannot offer. Some of them include getting food, not only to the animals, obviously, at the shelter, but to the residents who need food, getting medicine to the animals of the residents at a significantly discounted rate, collaborating with the individuals like the lady who spoke earlier, and getting these animals streamlined who are trapped and now are looking for homes. Those are the types of things we're going to do. I don't want to get into the negative aspect of this person is this and this person is that, but I will tell you, generally speaking, there is a target on Mr. Berman's back because of Mr. DiLeonardo, who simply does not like him and wants attention. Mr. DiLeonardo comes here for attention. He travels over 60 miles to get here, a town that he has no interest in, to say negative things. And then these people, these good people, get up and they parrot his lies. Please, please do not listen to them. Now he has an attorney by the name of Bonnie Clapper writing emails on his behalf. I reached out to Ms. Clapper to put to bed any of her misconceptions. She too has not reached out. The theme here is any opposition to the lies does not wish to be heard, and I ask this board to consider all the great things. Thank you.
Anybody else wish to be heard did not sign in? If not, I would tell everybody. Oh, please. Good afternoon.
Hi.
If you give your name and address to the record, thank you.
John DiLeonardo, Riverhead. I was born and raised in Hempstead and founded Humane Long Island here more than a decade ago. Last year, I worked with authorities to confiscate dozens of animals from drug dealers and dog fighters in the township and rescued more than 100 animals in a single case in Belmore. Last month, I hosted an event for adoptable animals from the town shelter at Barrier Brewery in Oceanside. I care deeply for animals in Hempstead. At the last meeting, Stephen Politi and Jack Russo spoke in favor of Goldman Animal Alliance. To date, these paid representatives have been the only ones to speak in favor of this organization, privatizing the town of Hempstead Animal Shelter at any of these meetings. After Stephen Politi spoke, he approached me during the meeting to call me a piece of shit and threaten me as witnessed by many in this room. Why does he have such animosity toward me, you may wonder. Stephen Politi and Jack Russo are also lawyers for notorious animal exhibitor Larry Wallach, who violated laws in Hempstead for decades before founding Sloth Encounters in Islip, which I exposed alongside the Humane Society of the United States and many other organizations for hitting sloths, trafficking illegal animals, and operating unlawfully for more than 2 years in Islip Township before the Supreme Court ordered the business closed and federal authorities canceled Larry Wallach's license to exhibit following dozens of Animal Welfare Act violations. What Russo and Politi also failed to mention is that Goldman Animal Alliance's president, William Berman, was a sponsor of Sloth Encounters and the recent founder of Andalusia Animal Adventures, where several of these sloths were sent to wildlife trafficker Shay Hensley, who was arrested last year on 11 charges related to bear trafficking. Stephen Politi himself has been held in contempt of court for throwing a pen in an argument with the judge trying to get an appeal for his client who killed a Boy Scout, and his representation of Larry Wallach shows he has no qualms representing animal abusers. You have all the evidence we submitted. It would be a dereliction of your duty to act in the best interest of the town to award the shelter contract to Goldman Animal Alliance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else wish to be heard? Sure. Come to the back and give your name and address. Right there.
Diane Madden, Hempstead. I just wanted to add that it's very likely that people are not promoting or supporting privatization because they've been viciously slandered and attacked for even having a neutral position. As concerning the questioning of qualifications for the board of privatization, what's interesting is that the same people that are questioning Mr. Berman and the qualifications for the board have never shown concern for any qualifications of any employees at the animal shelter, nor have they ever come before this board to say what I've said probably has become white noise at this point. But Supervisor, you are aware, I have always urged this board to bring in qualified individuals, particularly a trainer, full-time. The people that are questioning the qualifications of the privatization board have never asked for anyone to have qualifications. And as a matter of fact, I try to be humble about this, but quite frankly, to listen to the veiled insults from these people that are volunteers, that volunteer program was established by me, by my lawsuit. Thankfully, I worked with the brilliant Joseph Macy, who represented the town, and many programs were established through that lawsuit. So the people that are criticizing and making claims about, my credibility, they're there because of me. Secondly, as far as staff, they should not be speaking on behalf of staff. Staff can speak for themselves and express what their wishes are, and I hope the board proceeds with taking them into consideration. Lastly, the issue about Titan, I appreciate your time, Town Attorney. I'm hoping that you will give him additional pause. It's a dog that came in 2 months ago through a court case. I know there was an incident, but I also know the court never deemed him as a dangerous dog. So I only ask that the town attorney's office or the shelter allow this dog to be evaluated by an outside independent trainer. Many of the favorite animals, which I also take issue with, I certainly didn't work hard to get volunteers in the animal shelter for them to pick favorites, where some dogs don't get those privileges and some do. So, please, if you'll give him an opportunity to be evaluated, I would greatly appreciate it. And finally, he's not seen the light of day in 2 months. Just to make you aware, and this board aware, a law is going to come into effect in December, the Shelter Standards Act, that will greatly impact the shelter in a good way, I'm hoping, whether you do it through privatization or yourselves. The shelter will not be able to get away with leaving a dog isolated for 2 months without walking. Thank you.
Anybody else wish to be heard? If not, I will tell you, everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you all very much.
That was good.